On Trends today, the aviation sector and correspondingly the mainstream and social media has been abuzz with issues concerning the KWAM and the Ibom Air cases. And this is part of our story today. In our first story, Ibom Air Saga, federal government withdraws complaint against the passenger and makes KWAM an ambassador. In our second story, Tambol granted bail. Opposition alleges EFCC is a political tool. Anambra State Governor Soludo declares support for President Tinubu ahead of 2027 general elections. And on sports, home-based Eagles crashed out of the CHAN after humiliating 4-0 defeat from their opponents. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Trends on LJE, where we dissect leadership, economic and justice issues in Nigeria, Africa and the globe to provide lasting solutions. I'm your host, Mohammed Enea Sule, and joining us today is a development strategist, the president of LJE Nigeria, and a social commentator, Miriam Gamaliel, whom we shall be meeting after the break. Do stay.
Hi guys! So I came across a studio here in Abuja where you can just walk in and shoot any video of your choice. Podcast sessions, talk shows, and even live programs. They have beautiful colored lights. You can choose the one you want. They have teleprompter in case you want to read from a script. You can bring in your guests or someone you would love to talk to. You can do football gist, celebrity gossip, cooking show, music countdown, political gist, real estate palaver. Just that dream show you would love to do. Guess what? When I came in, they even made smile touch-ups on my face. Within 1 hour of my shoots, my video was ready. They have different bonanza packages. Starting from as low as 10,000 and above, you can get your video instantly or in less than 24 hours. Please, check their contacts and address on the screen.
Welcome back from that short break. Right now, we have on our studio today a development strategist, Mr. Shadrach Oka. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mohammed, for having me.
All right. And the president of Leadership Hub Justice and Economic Advancement, Barrister Meme Samuel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And our beautiful social commentator, Miriam Gamaliel, thank you for being a part of today's program.
Thank you very much, Mo.
Right, as we said, in a new twist of ongoing airline saga, Ibom Air controversy, the government has announced that it has withdrawn the criminal complaint against Ms. Comfort Emerson, the passenger who was remanded for allegedly assaulting a cabin crew member in the airline. The government cited appeals from well-meaning individuals and the passenger display of remorse as reasons for the decision. The development, which came after the Senate initiated a probe into the incident, has sparked a fresh wave of public discussion about the nature of justice and accountability in Nigeria. Meanwhile, Fuji musician KWAM, who was also involved in a separate incident, has been appointed as an ambassador for the same airline, a move that has been met with mixed reactions from the public. Against Ms. Comfort raises questions about the use of discretion in the justice system. How does this decision impact the perception of fairness, especially given the public outcry over the initial remand?
Well, a lot has happened the last 48 hours and last 7 days with aviation sector. First with KWAM 1 and now with what netizens have referred to as KWAM 2, signaling an unending and unfolding issues with aviation. Thank God for social media. These things have always been there. Unruly behaviors of some airline crew, where they met a lot of injustice to passengers. But this way, maybe because of KWAM 1, and it's throwing up a lot of dust. I recall the last time we treated the episode on KWAM 1, I was one of the person who had given accolade to the Minister of Aviation for the speedy dispense of justice, in that case, dealing with the unruly behavior of the passenger. However, his status was in the society. But with the twist of events now, I think I'll be forced to withdraw, my endorsement to the federal government and the Minister of Aviation, because I think they are all being remote controlled, which is very, very, unheard of. Now, on the issue that is on the table, I think I would like to address it this way. What I see a lot of perspective to it. First, I've seen the issue of abuse of power and privileges by certain people in the country. I see a lot of unruly behavior of certain people, Nigerians, and lack of professionalism by our, staff at the airport. And also, I've also seen the inconsistency of administration of justice by our legal system throw up a lot of vacuum, which is very, very distasteful. And also, finally, I also see, the issue of different stroke for different folk, as in the case with the treatment method to KWAM and then the Lady Comfort Emerson. Firstly, let me say it is very, very disturbing how some of us carry ourselves without distinguishing your attitude privately and when you get to public, how to comport and conduct yourself. The attitude of the young lady is not justified for whatever reason. She behaved herself, she didn't comport herself very well. However, we have also seen a lot of gross violation of our rights. Firstly, I want to say the person who uploaded that video, we must not, close our eyes and pretend that as if all is well. That issues, we cover that issue, maybe from the airline staff on our resilience, passenger and all that. But when you see that kind of, revealing, sensitive parts of that young lady, it's not supposed to be uploaded. At best, you surrender those clips to the authorities for investigation.
Exactly.
Helpful evidence for investigation, but not just to rush to social media. And that's why people keep talking about regulation on social media. People should understand that humanity should come first before trends and whatever it is we want to achieve by all of those stuff. Secondly, the federal government, I think it is because of KWAM issue that the federal government decided not to press charges on this young lady.
Right.
Because they have been forced, very, very unfortunately, to withdraw charges from KWAM, reducing his ban from 6 months to 1 month, and even conferring ambassadorial position to him for the airline. It is very laughable. I think the federal government would have gotten it right by allowing KWAM to serve. He could appeal. Let us see that he appealed, and perhaps on good, persuasive, positions of law, reduce that maybe to 3 months. After serving that 3 months, showing remorse and regret over his action, you cannot confer. But with this one, they are trying to patronize, unruly behavior, stamping unruly behavior, because like I said the other time, it's either you are a big man or a big man. It's either you have money or you have power or you have both, or someone who have both in this country to survive. That is very, very unfortunate. You can see with the speed in which they dispense justice to this young lady. Before you count 2, she's already in Kri prison. Right. How about passengers whose rights have been violated severally by airline operators? We are looking forward to seeing what the Minister of Aviation, they are on the spotlight right now, but I can tell you, Nigeria, they can get away with anything. Finally, I want to ask the question, who has the authority actually, to make this banned travel? Either the AO, the, aviation, airline operators of Nigeria, or it is the NCAA, that is the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority. Because before you know it, they have meted live ban to this young lady. But I don't think, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think they reserve that right to do such. But like I said again, it is very unfortunate that federal government, after taking a very good and decent position of law in the issue of KWAM, but they are now turning the hands of the clock, because Nigerians will frown and, kind of endorsing such unruly behavior of this young lady. Both are wrong, but I would think when it comes to this issue, sentiment and emotion should be thrown apart and allow the law to take a course. That way, we will regulate all this kind of conduct in public spaces.
Thank you very much. And talking about the law, for joining us in the studio today, let's look at the legal implications of this. There have been a lot of angles to look at this. The person that uploaded the video, a lot of people that booked that flight were thinking of going somewhere, and that altercation actually delayed them. Then the issue of KWAM coming before this and the decision of the government, there are a lot of legal angles to this. How do we, place this on the table of the law?
Well, it's not the responsibility of the airline to place a ban. It is the responsibility of the NCAA. But this must be done after due consultation and aligning the customer in question, a fair hearing. Because we also happen, if you look at the incident, this incident happened at the arrival,
Right.
not at the departure time. It therefore means that probably the air hostess requested that everyone turn off their phone. Probably she refused to turn off their phone, but at least the flight has landed. So what if you also carefully watch the video, you notice that the air hostess blocked the airline, blocked the door of the aircraft, thereby preventing the passenger from coming down.
Right.
She is not a security agent. She has no power to block the entrance, thereby preventing a customer from, coming down from the aircraft. At best, what they could do was to alert the security agencies or the security agent at the airports. Then they will now invite her for interrogation and ask her about questions on issues that happened during the flight time. So what you saw there is outright impunity, because we are all victims. I remember on Sunday, I was traveling from Abuja to Asaba. I got to the airport. Thank God I met the security guys here in Abuja. 1 hour, 2 minutes to departure with United Nigeria. They are very fond of doing that. I think we must begin to look into the activities of these airlines. And when we got there, at the counter, they said, we just this last Sunday here, they said we should wait. And I met one other lady, and after some time, after about 10 minutes, they said they are not longer boarded. That is 50 minutes to departure. The flight was to take off by 4:15 p.m. and arrived at about 10 minutes past 3 p.m. And we look at the time and say, this is still 15 minutes to departure. The lady refused. In fact, I had to go to the NC office, the front office, and call the security guys there. Many people were stranded. I don't know what, and the character, the attitude of these air hostels on flights is becoming unbearable. This is because our roads are bad. So everyone must queue to the airport to travel. So the federal government must begin to look into our roads. Many people don't even enjoy paying these high costs to travel on the airline. So what the federal government should begin to do, if care is not taken, no one would naturally want to travel by road, because the roads are terribly bad. The insecurity on the road is on the rise on a daily basis. So people must apply the airline. So what do you expect? The traffic is too much. But talking about the legal implication in all of these things, clearly it is very clear that it is the same airline operators, the staffs of the airline, that did the video recording and put it out to the public. So all of them, including the lady who said she's slapping me, she's like, how do you have the power? Do you have the right to stop a passenger from alighting from the aircraft? You don't have the power. You don't have the right. Not even the staffs had the right to. She's not a threat to the airline. As a matter of fact, the flight has even
Ended.
arrived at the airport. So, and of course, I don't want to commend the federal government for dropping the charge, because they don't have any right to. In any way, you saw someone who had been victimized, someone who had been intimidated. We know that it is the responsibility of the passengers to obey every lawful instructions. But at the same time, you must also respect the individual rights of the passengers. The character and the attitude of these airline operators in Nigeria is becoming unbearable, and steps must be taken to address this issue. Otherwise, one day there will be huge protests at the airports.
Right. Thank you very much. Over to you, Miriam. How do you see this issue?
Okay, like Barrister Meme just said, I don't think the air hostess just blocked the road or for the door for her to alight. No. I saw somewhere online on Twitter, precisely, where someone said that she was on that same flight, you get?
Okay.
Now, the flight has landed and everybody was coming out. But the girl in question went and approached the pusher or somebody inside, asking the person, why did they tell her to turn off her phone? Yes, that was the story I saw online. Why did they tell her to turn off her phone? I saw it on Twitter. I'm not with my phone yet. I would have brought it up. I saw it on Twitter. That the flight has alighted, has stopped, everybody has come out. Then she went to meet them inside. It's not as if anybody met her. She went to meet them, and the lady that blocked the door, she was hitting the lady. The lady they've already called for security to come and pick up the girl. So now they blocked the way for the girl not to pass until the security arrives. It's not as if she just blocked the way. I am not saying that the video is right or what they did to her was right, because I'm against the dragging. You get, I know they started dragging her because she was trying to put the fire extinguisher from the aircraft. They were shouting that she's trying to destroy the aircraft. I heard people shouting that in the video. I think that was why they held her. But I don't still condone that dragging, because at that point she might hit her head or sustain an injury or might die.
Right.
And again, talking about dressing, our women, we should do better. Talking about dressing, you're traveling, you don't know what you see on the way, you don't know what is going to happen, and you're not wearing anything inside. Even if you don't want to wear a brassiere, we have bralettes, we have bra tops, we have nipple covers, you get, that you could use to protect yourself and not just walking on the road like that. No, that is not right. I don't know why girls or women do that, and it is not right. Even if you don't want to wear anything heavy, wear a singlet. A singlet will help you to cover yourself if anything happens tomorrow. That's just what I have to say.
And talking about social media, a lot of voice notes are coming up from different people saying different stories about the same issue. Which one can we trust generally?
We were not there. And again, we've not heard from the girl. I don't know if you understand. It is not for the girl to come out and say, this is what happened and this didn't happen. Then the lady that blocked the door, they should keep the both of them. They should come and testify. Then let's know who is saying the truth. Because social media is where everybody will come up with different points. Everybody will have different opinions, different things to say. But until we hear from the horse's mouth, that's when we know the truth.
I think, the record must be set very clear.
Right.
You know, usually when the flight is about to take off, the air hostess will normally announce that everyone should turn off their phones. So there is an account from a passenger in the aircraft that alleges that when they asked everyone to turn off their phone, this lady was still making use of her phone. And that was what caused the issue.
Yeah.
And the air hostess was angry, of course. Eventually they arrived. When they arrived, other passengers, if you look at the aircraft carefully, you discover that that aircraft was already empty. Other passengers that are lighted from the aircraft. The air hostess, that particular lady, there are allegations against that lady that this is her character. And I've not used Ibom Air, but I know some of the airlines that I use very frequently, at least I know some of them. All right? So this lady blocked because she was waiting for the other staffs to come and pick her from the aircraft. So when this lady attempted to leave, she blocked her. She blocked her. It was visible that she blocked her from leaving. Not everybody can stand calm in the face of oppression.
True.
What happened on Sunday, I almost lose my temper. Because how can you imagine that you arrive at the airport 1 hour, 2 minutes to departure time? And even the securities at the gate, at the entrance to the area there, they saw me. And in fact, one of them even assisted me. And I went to call and said, you guys can play your CCTV. So many other guys were there. Look. In fact, they had to give me my boarding pass. Then the rest people protested and eventually gave everyone their boarding pass. That is not enough. Getting to the boarding area, because the flight was about to take off at that time, I was having my bag. I met another air staff there who said that I will have to pay, that if my luggage is above 6 kg, that I'll have to pay. Where is it that you have to pay for extra for a bag that is less than above 6 kg, just 6 kg. I'm sure it's supposed to be 15 kg, right?
Right.
This is an incident that happened on Sunday here, just 4 days ago or 3 days ago. And one of the guys said he's going to teach them a lesson, and it's okay, give me the account number. Let me transfer. At the point of climbing the aircraft, and the guy provided an account number. One of the air hostess asked him, which account number are you providing? He said, we are providing our account number. When we get back there, we'll transfer the money. Everything is already covered. We did a video of it. So, and this is because people, when certain incidents happen, these airlines, because of their relationship with the authority, with the aviation ministry, nobody seems to challenge them. You remember what happened in the case of Adam Somole?
Right.
Many people criticize. I said, I can't criticize what happened because not everyone can stand quiet in the face of intimidation. Imagine getting to the airport, then you are prevented from boarding when you arrive at the right time, and you now take another transport to your place, back to your house. Then you now reschedule and pay extra. And this same airline can unilaterally cancel your flight or postpone the flight without any apology. So what are we talking about? I'm not supporting the unruly behavior by this lady, but you should understand that Nigerians are very, very angry at this moment. So anything can trigger their anger. So it's quite unfortunate that it is citizens versus citizens at all times, not just citizens versus government. The level of intimidation, the level of the way these guys should be trained over and over, and they should take steps to suspend certain airlines license so that the rest can take a clue from all of these things.
Thank you very much for that. Wonderful. Of course, your opinion is much needed here for this case. Do drop your comments on our social media platform as we go on a short break. Do stay.
Hi guys! So I came across a studio here in Abuja where you can just walk in and shoot any video of your choice. Podcast sessions, talk shows, and even live programs. They have beautiful colored lights. You can choose the one you want. They have teleprompter in case you want to read from a script. You can bring in your guests or someone you would love to talk to. You can do football gist, celebrity gossip, cooking show, music countdown, political gist, real estate palaver. Just that dream show you would love to do. Guess what? When I came in, they even made smile touch-ups on my face. Within 1 hour of my shoots, my video was ready. They have different bonanza packages. Starting from as low as 10,000 and above, you can get your video instantly or in less than 24 hours. Please check their contacts and address on the screen. Hi.
Welcome back. Welcome back from that short break. This is still Trendz on LJE. And in our next story, Tambuwal granted bail. Opposition alleges EFCC is a political tool. The former Sokoto State Governor, Aminu Tambuwal, has been granted administrative bail by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, after being questioned over alleged fraudulent cash withdrawals of 189 billion naira. The arrest was triggered or has triggered a political firestorm with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and leaders of the ADC coalition accusing the federal government of weaponizing anti-corruption agencies to target opposition figures. They claim the move is an attempt to destabilize the opposition ahead of the 2027 elections. The EFCC has yet to officially comment on the allegation, but sources within the commission insist that the investigation is based on credible financial intelligence. Well, Mr. Shedrack, this is another issue, the arrest of a high-profile figure like Tambuwal by an anti-graft agency always raises questions about political motivation to such arrests. How can anti-corruption agencies like the EFCC build public trust and prove that they are independent when their actions appear to be disproportionately large members of the opposition are affected in cases like this?
Well, it is not lies that the EFCC somewhat present himself as a tool in the hands of federal government. In the first place, they were created to be a tool to aid government, maintain accountability, transparency. Anti-corruption is to aid government to do their job properly. So by default, they were created as a tool to assist government. So, but who are the people crying? Fellow politicians with a lot of baggages. It's not citizens that are crying that Tambuwal was arrested, it's politicians. Who has the EFCC invited that is not guilty, that does not have a skeleton in his cupboard? Who? P2B is a politician now. He's a politician who has served for 8 years. Why is he not under EFCC net? So who is crying? Who is crying? Please, they should spare us. Whatever it is that the federal government wants to do is their business. We encourage opposition, or we care. Citizens don't care. They can arrest anybody they want to arrest. We don't care because we know they are all corrupt, including Mr. President. He was one docked. Most of them did plea bargain. Who is guiltless? Among the current Minister for State for Defense, former governor of Zamfara State. Where is he? Appointed as minister? Don't we know how many millions of dollars or billions that EFCC charged him with? Where is he? He's not enjoying immunity because he's in APC, sins are forgiven. As for Tambuwal, I've been praying to meet him in any public function because I wanted to whisper something to his ears. Tambuwal was one of the persons in 2014 who disrupted the fastest growing economy in Africa and the third fastest growing economy in the world by the singular action of his table, chest and lust for power. They were the ones who dragged the downfall, not necessarily of PDP, but like I said, the fastest growing economy in Africa when they defected to the APC just to truncate power from, kick out Jonathan and bring in Muhammadu Buhari. They were not looking at patriotism at that time, were thrown at the dustbins of history. In 2019, he wanted to be president. Not only lost out in the primaries in Port Harcourt, and then went back to become governor the second time. And what happened? What happened, Mr. Tambuwal? When the PDP constitution provided for power shift to the south, he said, and I quote, that's why I've been looking for Mr. Tambuwal to remind him what he said, that you get power before you share power. Atiku has 11 million votes in the county, so they must not transmit power to the south, even though it is the PDP constitution that guaranteed that he wants to grab power. Then I asked him after the 2023 election, where are the 11 million votes of Atiku? Today he's being seen in ADC. He has left the PDP. Why is he crying? Go to court. Of course, he will enjoy immunity. Whatever, let them drag them. Because this is a government that doesn't respect laws. So they should just play. Nigerians are not sympathizing with any opposition leader that is being dragged by EFCC. At worst or at best for them, they should fall back to Nigerians. We will hold them, help us change this system. And then we'll consider, forgiving them in the future. But like I said, EFCC is created as a tool to aid government work. So drag all that you can. If power changes hand, the next government will drag them too. People who did not pin down President Tinubu at the time are regretting their actions. They would have been tamed to the barest minimum. But in not doing that, I think he's the one make use of the tools of EFCC very well and make Nigeria a laughing stock in the Committee of Nations. We see all what they play to the gallery. And for the EFCC boss, of course, we have seen the hunter being the hunted before. But make sure in doing all of that, you cover your tracks very well and live above board, because tomorrow it may be your turn too.
Thank you very much. Barrister, many political parties like the ADC feels like they are being witch hunted, and with the 2027 elections on the horizon, how might these developments shape the dynamics within the opposition, and what are the implications for the future of multi-party democracy in Nigeria?
The opposition leaders in ADC, they are as the same as those in APC. So there is nothing difference among them, only that they are aggrieved members of the APC and PDP who now decided to, form an alliance to see how they can struggle for power. The same thing they have always done. They did it in 2015, and they brought in the man who almost destroyed this country. Then in 2019, they also repeated it. In 2023, they did what they did. And now this is about 2027. And they are coming together again to see how they can, out of anger, to see how they can come together, But looking at it, just like Mr. Shedrack said, what is the implication about all of these things? When you are invited as a public official, the Tambuwa cannot tell us or cannot tell me that in all his dealings, he has never been involved in any activities that appears to be against the law, particularly when it regards to the issue of finance and management of finance in Sokoto State. So, because when you look at the Sokoto State, for instance, where he governed for 8 years, you can literally see not much innovation and innovative activities or companies or whatever that he has brought in. So at best, like I always say, what many of them did was just to coordinate payment of salaries and maybe construct few roads that cannot even stand the test of time, probably 1 year or 2 years after each of the rainy season. And they continue with what they are doing. They are parading themselves as leaders, but whereas they are merchandise, they are dealers. They are not leaders in any character. And they should be dragged by all agencies of government. They should be meant to vomit everything they have taken from the public. They don't deserve my sympathy, and they will never deserve my sympathy. These guys don't have conscience. The EFCC should ensure that they follow up this matter to the latest. And we are very much interested in the allegation against him. And let them ensure that all the money he has taken from the Sokoto State must be vomited. All of them in that coalition, they should begin to vomit all that they have taken. If they cannot stand the heat, they should go and join them in APC. So Nigerians will decide what happened in 2027. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. In our next story, Anambra State Governor Soludo declares support for President Tinubu ahead of the 2027 elections. He has openly declared his support for Tinubu ahead of the elections. The governor, speaking publicly, noted that he has maintained a friendship with the president over 22 years and has no apologies for his support. This declaration has sent ripples through the political landscape, particularly within the southeast, where many are still debating political allegiances. Soludo's stance has been viewed as a significant move that could influence political alignments and strategic decisions within the region as the next election cycle draws closer. Well, Mr. Shedrack, Governor Soludo's public declaration of support to Tinubu is a notable political development. What are the potential strategic reasons behind this move, and how might it impact the standing within his own party and the wider Southeast political community?
You see, the only luck that Professor Charles Soludo has is that Mr. P2B is a very, 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 very good gentleman. If he was a typical Nigerian politician who will, respond to Charles Soludo with all his vituperation against him, campaign or calumny against him. If he wants to respond that way, I can tell you, Charles Soludo will not complete his tenure. He will resign. Not talking about contesting the election. He will just resign this very tenure because it will be very clear that he stands no chance of winning 25% of that vote. But just that P2B is someone who is very decent, ignoring him. So, yet, Soludo is still feeling the heat in the streets of the people and getting some feelers and signals that the people are very hostile to him. They may not likely, give him the vote as needed. So all he needs to do now is to romance very strongly with the leading party and President Tinubu to ensure that not the APC candidate also have a chance. And so that is just what he's doing. He's very unfortunate. He used to be, he's a very brilliant scholar, an economic professor who have led reforms in our central bank. So we thought when it comes to Anambra State, it will be very clear roadmap for not just for only development ongoing, but a clear roadmap that shows decency, transformation, and transparency and accountability in governance, dispensing governance to the people. But it's constant dragging of someone who has served over 16 years past. Not talking about the person he even met. He has never mentioned Willoughby that he took power from. So it's very, funny how they behave. Of course, once you join politics, if you are not strong-willed in terms of your life philosophy and ideology, you begin to behave very unruly, like mad, which is what the trade we see with the notoriety in which we see most of our politicians today. So it is not new that ABGA, for what they do, once you gain to power, I think they are somewhat behave as if they are appendage of the leading party, whether it is PDP or APC, as in this case now. They support the power at the center because they know they don't have a chance at the center. So in order to retain power, in the region. Tinubu did that, used that strategy all through. He survived in Lagos, keeping Lagos. So what he does is he negotiates, keep his region, support the people at the center. And that is what he uses swelling his political capital. Not because he was very, good to the people, but he uses that. So that is a strategy that Charles Soludo wants. It's a survival strategy for me that is using. But I think, again, the only luck he has is that P2B is not someone who is very power drunk. If P2B wants to behave 25% of what he's behaving, I can tell you, he will not complete this tenure. He will turn it because the heat of the city will just be too much on him. He has been picking up on him, but he has no time. P2B is very focused on what he's doing. So he can go at the robust with, the leading party. And of course, there's no challenger there. The PDP is dead. It's an ICU, political ICU. And I don't see good political party challenging him. That's just the luck he has. APC, people are already tired of APC, so they don't have a chance, except they see someone with very credible pedigree who distinguishes himself personally outside the party to be able to give him a run for his money. So
Right.
you should go ahead.
Thank you. Quite briefly, Barrister, does the friendship of Soludo and the president give him any advantage, for people considering him in the next elections?
Well, the friendship can only provide some kind of opportunity for manipulation and using the security apparatus of states to see how they can, manipulate the system to ensure that he is eventually declared the winner of the election. But if you are very, very comfortable with Anambra State, you agree with me that Anambra State is one of the most dirtiest states in Nigeria. Anambra State is suffering from different angle, economic issue, insecurity. In fact, under this current administration in Anambra State has even gone worse. So, and this is a state that is at the core center of the Southeast region. And when we look at what goes on around the East, many times some of us who are from the Anyomas and Delta, most of our brothers will they say, you guys are Igbos. I said, no, we are not Igbo. Because they say, no, but you are, because you speak similar. I said, no, we are not. You can't drag me to an area where you cannot even sustain your own economic integrity, and you are trying to drag people in. But let me go straight to the point. The relationship between the Anambra State Governor and Mr. President is in no way going to help him in terms of being able to, get votes from the people. At best, what they can do is to use the instrumentality of the power, instrumentality of security agencies. All he wants is just the assurance of security, assurance of protection, assurance that nobody is coming to Anambra State to trouble him. That is all that he wants, and see how he can. Of course, he has already endorsed the president. He has the right as a citizen to endorse whatever he wants to endorse. He has the right, but he cannot control. Even him as the governor cannot even control the mind of the people. The people of Anambra State are already tired of this man, Professor Soludo. I believe I used to love him before. I felt that this kind of person will want to lead this country. But having seen what he's able to achieve for the last 4 years, I felt like, this is a mistake again. But then, I think this thing right. This man's supposed to concentrate on the issues of governance, provide security, provide infrastructure, provide all the all the things that appears to be the development and the benefit of democracy. We are not seeing that in Anambra State. In fact, the result of what is going on in Anambra State, we are having overflows of insecurity from Anambra State coming into Delta State, particularly Asaba area. This man has not been able to nip it in the bud. In fact, they are even giving so much challenge to Delta State government as a result of the influx of insecurity in Anambra State. I think Professor Soludo should concentrate on the issue of governance. He should look at the basics tenets of governance and see how he can provide solutions to a huge problem facing a state rather than dancing around a failed government, a failed federal government that you want to rely on a failed federal government. That is totally political miscalculation on his part.
Thank you very much. We now conclude sports, and I'm really not happy with the performance of the Eagles, the young Eagles, who were humiliated yesterday, a 4-0 defeat. This humiliating defeat, which has been described as one of the team's worst performances in the competition's history, follows a previous 1-goal defeat to Senegal. This poor performance has led to a widespread public anger and calls for a complete overhaul of the team's coaching and management. The Nigerian Football Federation intense pressure to address the team's systemic issues and prevent a reoccurrence of such a disappointing outing. Mr. Shedrak, I felt so sad last night because a lot of calls from people saying he should actually try to bring in the home base. And now we have the home base, and this performance was truly, particularly in the wake of powerful performances by our female athletes who have actually done well in the WAFCON and of course the Afrobasket. Like this is terrible. For you, what would you say about this particular issue?
Well, I didn't feel anything bad. I actually feel very happy. Because sometimes results is deceptive. You know, when you look at a person's results, it will, close up issues of work rate that is put into it. We just focus on the result without looking at the process for which the person got that result sheet. So we've been performing, winning all the cups, and all the accolades goes to Mr. President, who have been rewarding people with cash amount. But the management and administration of our sporting, sector does not reflect the result that we're actually getting. So most times those results come as a result of sheer determination of the individual players. And for whatever we've been investing, we've not been doing well. But when we go to global stage, kind of pretend and hypocritical display out there. So let this serve us right so that we can go back and invest properly in our local sports. Because you say it's home Eagles, meaning that you just pick these people from the local teams. It shows is a reflection of what has been happening in our league, our Premier League here in the country. So they should just invest more and not to talk down on the players. The players particularly may be good, but like I said, management and administration of our sporting sector is bad. We should not delude ourselves the fact that we won some medals up there and think all is well. All is not well with our sports.
Thank you very much, our guest, Mr. Shedrak Oka, for joining us today. And of course, the president of LJE Nigeria, Barrister Meme Samuel, thank you so much for making it a day with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right. And Miriam Gamalia, thank you, of course, again for joining us.
Thank you, Mom.
We have come to the end of today's episode of Trends on LJE. A major look at our top stories. We told you about the Ibom Air saga, where the federal government withdraws complaints against passenger and made KWAM an ambassador. Tambwa granted bail. Opposition alleges EFCC is a political tool. And Anambra State Governor Soludo declares support for President Tinubu ahead of 2027 elections. And the home base Super Eagle crashes out of the Chan after being humiliated 4-0 by Sudan. Don't forget, you could report a violation if you face one on our website at www.ljenigeria.org. Once again, I'm Mohamed Enesule, and our next program will be Justice Elias Hangouts. Do stay.
Hi guys! So I came across a studio here in Abuja where you can just walk in and shoot any video of your choice. Podcast sessions, talk shows, and even live programs. They have beautiful colored lights. You can choose the one you want. They have teleprompter in case you want to read from a script. You can bring in your guests or someone you would love to talk to. You can do football gist, celebrity gossip, cooking show, music countdown, political gist, real estate palaver. Just that dream show you would love to do. Guess what? When I came in, they even made smile touch-ups on my face. Within 1 hour of my shoots, my video was ready. They have different bonanza packages starting from as low as 10,000 and above. You can get your video instantly or in less than 24 hours. Please check their contacts and address on the screen.